Hi, my name is Dan. I'm the sole developer of Absolute Territory. I come under the name of Digital Software for my company as a sole trader, also known as Centaurian Mudpig around the internet. This is my first developer diary I've decided to do as a video rather than typing it up to a little later than planned. That's what you get when you work nights and don't get much time to work on it. So progress has been slow this last month since the last dev diary. Sort of feels slow because I've been working on the map editor. Now I'll just head on over there. I've got it in our menus. I've changed the menus around a bit from what, depending on how long you've been following me on these screens and the alphas that you may or may not have played. So this is my map editor. It's a simple 2D area drop down. So while you fight and play in a 3D space, this map editor is 2D at the moment. Whether or not it'll become 3D, we shall see. Our first screen, we have our player screen. And from here, we can choose what ship our player wants to fly in. Now, at the moment, it's best to fly in this one because the others are a bit weaker. And also have their own disadvantages at the minute as not being properly balanced as yet. So what we can do from here is we can choose our play ship. We can also choose how we want to load out our ship. And so for example, this is our default setting. So we've got laser bolt, a neutron cannon for our primary guns. For our secondary launchers, at the moment all we've got is missiles. So we've got a javelin heat seeker, which we've got 8 of, and image recognition, which we've got 4 of. And the ammo count is based on the launcher and also the hard point. There's a multiplier there which determines how much ammo you can get for that hard point. That's currently where it's up to there. That's all currently defined within the Unity editor. I would like to be able to provide a ship editor where we can define what hard points you want in it and everything else that way. That'd be nice, but that might be a while away, if at all. You know, that would be a nice thing to have. So we can decide, like, if we just want to go all lasers, we can do that. We can go all dumbfires if we wanted to. And then we can go and save this as no spaces, no other symbols. You can just get alphas and numerics at the minute, just to avoid other issues on saving file names. I'm going to check lots of other things I don't want to at this time. So you can see, there we go, we saved as a preset there, laser dart bolt. What we can do on here if we wanted to is we can override and leave that as is. So you can basically play around with your loadouts and get to test them quickly without having to save the preset each time. When you come to the loadout screen, you'll see everything there and you can select and save your presets and change the loadouts on there for what you would want for the ships that you're going to be your opponents in the game world. So for example, we'll say we'll fight some von Victoria, and then we can decide what loadout you might want to have on those ships. So what I'll do, we'll save this. In here, and then we can launch it from within the editor, or, and we have saved it, within here and play the mission. So we can see, oh, Oh wow. It seems our code for launching missiles needs a bit of work. What you can see before they all. We've got our Furex over there, which isn't working, which probably hasn't got all the things required. I'm interested to know why it's launched all these missiles. So that one's a bit too hard. So we'll go back to the editor and we'll just give ourselves a basic. So we'll have 2 enemies. And what we can also have is if we can have a crate. We can say we can collect that crate. So there's some things that are introduced that caused issues as a result of the changes I've done it. Before all the loadouts were hard coded in effect. Now that you can define them, we've got some things that I need to go around, try and fix. But then we can see the light blue or the cyan coloured object. That's our crate. We just fly in and collect that. Well, you think at least one of them would have got through. And yeah, just to finish the mission, just destroy the rest of the opponents. Now what we'd hope to add once we've solved some of the kinks out is to have some waypoints in there. And that's an abrupt end, and waypoints would just be multiple areas to visit, do whatever you need to do in there, go destroy more enemies, go collect another crate, destroy a crate. That's pretty basic what we've got in there at the moment for what can be done in the game. I'd like to expand on that and add some other conditions, but that will be at a later time. Right now the focus is getting this map editor more user-friendly and you know, iron out some of the quirks that could potentially confuse you on what you're doing in there, and making sure everything functions, like making sure all the presets are loaded when we save a new preset from a different screen. Should be a nice short dev diary, not much more to talk on there, and other than just a bit of behind the scenes. So the way it works at the moment is we have a basic structure for our ship that's got everything in there. We've got what defines it as a vessel, shield, armor, gun control, launcher control, fire control, radar, all systems in there, stuff that defines how it explodes. We've also got our cockpit in there, which defines the views in there. We'll also have the HUD, which will be inserted in there. But what we're talking about so we've got our gun points, we've got our gun port, which defines our gun locations. We've got group numbers, so that's literally why we've only got one. We had 2 guns, but only 1 port, so you only select 1 gun type for those 2 ports, because it's the same group. And then same with here, and then what we've got in the hard points is we've got this base ammo multiplier. So a launcher will have the default ammo capacity, and then based on the base ammo multiplier, that will decide whether or not the launcher will get more ammo if it's equipped to that hard point. And everything in here is just, yes, everything's component components really. Keeping everything simple, breaking it all down. We've got our engine in there, and then we've got our thrusters, or our single thruster should I say, which defines all the steering behaviours. Acceleration and deceleration in there. And all those afterburners. So it's all compartmentalised. Is that the right word? Compartmentalised. Separate components doing different things, separate classes. And it's like the same with this other ships as well. So like we've got the player. And we can see, well, that's the wrong one, that's the old one where you can see everything was defined in it. It's the Furax now. And we can see that we've got our gun points in there, and then our hard point is the base ammo multiplier for the launcher. We're also on Steam now, so you can find me, search for Absolute Territory on there. We're also got an itch.io page. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. You can find my website, digitumsoftware.com, and I'll include the links below if you're interested in visiting those pages. We're also finally on IndieDB as well. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this Dev Diary, and we'll see where we progress next month. Work will continue with the editor, so it might be a bit of a rehash of what's already here and what I've done within the next 28 to 30 odd days. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye for now.